Welcome to this preview of a pair of concerts, the second in our series with the Stockton Symphony.
These are live performances, and every single piece on the program has a little touch of magic, mystery, and fantasy. So we've called the set Fantastique.
And we've used the French term fantastique because the last piece on the program by Berlioz, he called the symphony fantastique.
And there's kind of a French connection going on here, right?
Yes, well, it might be obvious with Dukas and Berlioz, who were both French composers, but what about Liszt?
Now, he's a Hungarian composer, right? How does he fit into the mix?
So Liszt went to Paris as a youth to study, and he stayed there for many years, and he met all the famous musicians in Paris, including Berlioz. And he even went to the premiere of Berlioz's Symphonie Fantastique with Berlioz.
Now, let's talk about the first piece on this program by Paul Dukas, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. Now, I gotta confess, the first time I heard this music was when I was a little kid and I saw the movie Fantasia.
Same with me.
But there's quite a story to this piece, right?
Yes, the story of a young apprentice getting into deep water while his master is away is actually quite old. Dukas was inspired by Goethe's poem, the famous German writer, but it goes all the way back to 2nd century Greece.
So this is really kind of like pre-Mickey Mouse, right?
Definitely.
So the piece opens when he's casting the spell, right?
Yes.
And there's that real misty aura of mystery.
And then the mischief begins.
Bring on the mischief. Now, the next piece on this program by Franz Liszt is his Totentanz, his dance of death. And in this piece, which is basically a set of variations for virtuoso piano and orchestra, he's really fascinated with the Dies Irae.
The Dies Irae, or the Day of Wrath, comes from the Roman Catholic Requiem Mass, the Mass for the Dead. And it goes all the way back to ancient times with a particular melody that's a Gregorian chant.
So let's hear just a few notes of that melody. And this is a real virtuoso vehicle for our solo pianist, Terence Wilson, and this is the first time he's appearing with the Stockton Symphony.
You'll be able to hear an interview that Peter did with Terence on our YouTube channel.
Okay, coming to an internet near you soon. So now let's talk about the big 5-movement blockbuster that closes this program by Berlioz, his Symphonie Fantastique. And there's a real backstory to this, right?
Berlioz fell in love with the Irish actress Harriet Smithson. He saw her performing on stage in 1827, and he pursued her and finally got her to marry him.
But it didn't work out too well, right?
No, they separated and divorced, but we have this wonderful piece as the memory of their love affair.
The romantic inspiration is still there.
Yes. Berlioz wrote many descriptions in prose of his Symphonie Fantastique, and they all involve a young artist who falls desperately in love. And the first movement begins with his passionate reverie. It's a bit melancholy.
And now we get to the first main theme of the piece.
Berlioz called it an idée fixe, or fixed idea, a motive which runs as a love theme throughout different transformations in all the different movements.
So the first time, notice these weird offbeat stresses and these wild, fast, irregular heartbeats in the accompaniment. Now the second movement feels kind of like a waltz.
Yes, the young artist meets his beloved at a ball. After contemplating his passion in the countryside, the artist poisons himself. Not fatally, but enough to send him into a deep slumber with the strangest visions.
So it's going to get kind of gruesome here.
Yes, he dreams that he kills his beloved, is sentenced to death, and is marched to the scaffold.
What a nightmare. And so now at the end of this movement, we had mentioned the idée fixe, and this comes back in a really ghoulish way. You can hear faintly a kind of whimpering of this main theme, and then you hear the chop of the guillotine, and you even can imagine the head bouncing off the podium. Okay, how about the last movement?
In the last movement, the strange visions continue. He dreams that he meets his beloved at a witch's Sabbath.
So it's here in the last movement that the dies irae really plays a crucial role. And we hear this theme in 3 different tempi, 3 different speeds. It's a wonderful, spellbinding program full of a lot of imagination and great big orchestral playing. We would love to see you there because the music is in our blood.